Hello gamers and welcome to another preview video for the new DLC Blood Feud in Transylvania for Steel Division 2. This is the last of the three allied divisions we're going to cover. Corpul VI Territorial. Formed as part of a reserve training formation after Stalingrad, Corpul VI Territorial's homeland role changed overnight with Hungary's invasion of Transylvania. With limited means, the division-sized corps took the brunt of the Axis offensive. The battle group can only deploy light forces at the beginning of a battle, but Soviet armored and mechanized forces reinforced the Romanians later on. Infantry ranges from Granitieri border guards to disheartened reservisti. With almost no tanks and light artillery, anti-air and anti-tank forces pick up the slack. Including French twin 25mm AA guns and the Rishita 75mm AT guns, best AT gun in the game. The Soviets later bring an array of units from T-70 Recon tanks to Strelki squads and T-34-85s. Air cover includes Romanian Potes 6311A3 Recon bomber and 633 B-2 bombers. Corpul VI Territorial might be hard-pressed early into a fight, but will receive additional forces over time in the battle. This sounds a bit like 50-second Sicherung. Let's dive right in. So from the activation slot, lots of activation slots and cheap ones in Recon. Very decent infantry slots, tank slots, not too bad. Support tabs very decent, as are the AT activation slots. AA 3 cheapish slots, artillery 4 cheapish slots, definitely not the strong suit then, and air 4 cheapish slots. In the Recon tab, no new units, so you get the Recon bike with radio, you get the Dozor that can come in the BA-64B. For how many extra points? 10. Might be worth it. You have one kind of Lunatist snipers. They come double-weighted only. Motorized Rasvedka, but they only come in the Jeep-ish sort of thing, 90 kilometers per hour. You get 4 cards of Kalarashi, this fantastic beefy sniper unit. And then you get the Rasvedka. They actually arrive very early on the battlefield, at least in the preview build. Does not quite match to the description, I think. In the infantry tab, there are some new units. But first of all, you get the Granitieri, sort of cheapish line infantry. And then here comes the first new unit, the Granitieri Calari, also only 20 points. And you get 3 automatic rifles for a 9-man squad. If you compare it with the Granitieri, the difference is that you have 2 more automatic rifles as opposed to rifles, but also 1 man less. But this is quite impressive. But also the availability goes down, as you can see here. A phase 6 dudes, single weighted is 4 and then 2. In the Granitieri you get 12, 8, 4. So the availability is here a huge difference. Then you get Infanteristi with the Panzerfaust, 10-man squad. You get the infantry leader, no smoke. You get 7 cards, 7 of Recruitee, and they've got an automatic rifle, so they are not too shabby. So you could bring 7 cards of them in C phase and really spam, but you'd be dead by then, I think. Then you get a card of Strelki. You get 2 cards, and then you get 1 card of Avtomachiki. You get the Kalarashi Moto leader that you already know from my video on 8 Cav. You get the Pioneer leader. You actually get 6 cards of Pioneering with the light machine gun MG34. You get the Strelki DP with 2 DP-28s and an AT rifle. You get the Strelki Komroti leader face locked in B phase. Also, these guys here, the Soviet guys, are all of them are phase locked, so you can't bring them in A phase. Then you get another new unit, the Karashi Moto, that's also in 8 cav. Really cool unit with 2 MG42s and AT capabilities. You get this leader unit, VM, with a Panzerschreck and a sniper rifle, so that's cool. Another new unit is the Moto, and that's all only in this division. 12-man squad with 2 SMGs, 2 LMGs, MG34s, and explosives. So you can kind of engineer unit, you can kind of go through the forest, kill the enemies with your TNT, and then press on to the edge of the forest. I think this could be a very interesting unit. You get two of them with the double MG34. It's pretty cool. And then you get the Pioneer Assault. Oh, and I think I skipped the Reservisti. They are a bit similar to the Recruiti. They've got a different LMG, or automatic rifle rather. It has a shittier rate of fire. And you don't have an SMG, but you have an additional rifle instead. So on this, on long range, it might be better. The availability, as you can see here, is the same: 36 in C, 12 in A. In the tank tab, there are no new units, but you do get some nice tanks here. The T-34-85 Komrotti, the leader tank, you get 2 cards, can only come in B and C phase. And you get the T-34-85, which can only come in B and C phase. So really cool tanks with 2k range. But that's it. 4 cards of them, which is cool, but you have to survive A phase without tanks. Even 50-second Sicherung has, I think, like the Aufklärungspanzer. But what you can bring is the Rozvedka. In the support tab, you get Gendarme for all your disheartened troops, Schwarzlose ZB-53s, 4 cards of each here. You get the nice Breda gun. You get support trucks. You get 2 cards of Hotchkiss, which is pretty significant. And then you get the new commander, the Ford V8 Sedan commander. That's also included in 9th Infantry that I've already covered. You get an infantry commander and the M2 combat commander. In the AT tab, there's one new unit. No, there's no new unit. I wrote down there's the Takam R2, but it's actually not, or not any longer. But what you do get is the Panzerschreck 4 cards, the Vanatori de Cara 2 cards, a card of M42s with APCR at 1k range. You get 4 cards of Schneider. Yep, quite interesting because of the high rate of fire. Then you get a Pak 38 with APCR. You get a SIS gun, which can double function as an artillery piece. You get a SIS 2 gun, and you get 1 card of Rashida. So way more than you can actually fit in. So you can really build the deck in a way to match in competitive games where you know what your opponent is playing and what map you will play on. You can build a good match and possibly bring lots of AT guns in A phase, maybe 2 or 3. One beefy one, maybe the SIS 2, or I would bring the SIS 3. No, you can't actually, sorry, my bad. Yeah, the Pak 38, the Schneider, and the M32 can come in A phase, and the rest, reinforcements, and even the Yurashita, you can only bring in B phase or later. In the AA tab, there are there's one new unit. First of all, you get 6 cards of Hotchkiss trucks, and they are really not good. And you have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots, but you get 6 cards. I don't know why. Maybe to reflect the actual division better. You get the Gustlov, 20 mils. You can bring them with the Hotchkiss truck as well, but like I said, it's not very good. You get a new unit, and that is the Hotchkiss ACA Doubler, because it's a twin gun. And the Hotchkiss is already better than it looks. So I think that this Hotchkiss Doubler, you unfortunately only get one card and only an A-phase. I think this could be really good. And then you get luckily you get 2 cards of Flak 36s that you can bring in all phases. And the Flak 36 is so far only available in First Fallschirmjäger. I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired because of handball training and work and stuff, and there's so much to cover in these videos. So you get in the artillery tab, you get an observer, you get artillery you get 2 cards of artillery commanders or leaders, but I'm not quite sure if this is the case in any other division. 5 cards of 60mm mortars, you can really go for the spam. 4 cards of 80mm mortars, and then you get several OB guns. You get the 75mm option that dual functions as a slow AT gun. You get the 105mm option. You get the 100mm option. And they are all available in A phase already. You get the Su-76, which is unfortunately only available in B phase, as the Soviet unit here. Then you get a 120mm mortar. You get a 150mm artillery piece, and 155, sorry, and 3 cards of 150mm mortars, and you can bring them in with ammunition trucks as well. So, you know, with all these artillery guns, even those 150mm guns, this seems to be very viable in 10v10 games for artillery support. Bring 4 or maybe even 5 of them, and your friends will like you. In the air tab, there are new units as well. Those POTAS planes. So this is a new Recon plane with little armaments, or very few armaments. Okay-ish speed. For Recon, I think it's quite decent. Bad resilience though. Then you get this really cool air Recon unit that I never really used because I never really played the divisions that it is in. Really cool for close air support with 2 23mm machine guns, or autocannons rather. You get the BF-109G2, which is, oh, and this plane only comes in B phase, so that sucks a bit. So if you want A phase Recon, you have to go for the POTAS. BF-109G2, then you get the Yak-1B. You do get, where are the 2 machine guns in the nose? I'm not sure, there's one. You do get several POTAS bombers with varying loads. So we've seen this air Recon already, and then there's a 90 points bomber with 200 kilogram bombs, only 200 meter range. And you get another variant for 105 points with 8 50 kilogram bombs. And then you get, yeah, that's the 3 variants in total you get. And then you have a Yak-9B, can only come in a B phase. And then you have a Yak-9T, also B phase only, 37mm autocannon. You get the IL-2M, really decent against tanks. You get the IL-2M3 napalm bomber. You get an IL-4. This is quite the bomber with 2 500 kilogram bombs and one 1K bomb. And like most of the Soviet Union units, it can only come in B phase or later. And then you even get a cluster bomber And IL-4 has very good resilience. That's pretty cool. Let me know what this means if you speak Russian. I have no idea what it means. And there's the Yak 9B cluster bomber. So what's my favorite unit in this division? Oh, these are pretty cool with 3 LMGs, automatic rifles. There's also the Kalarashi Moto Leader that's also in, where is it? I wrote down that as a Kalarashi Moto Leader, but I might have been wrong. Maybe they are in 9th Infantry, or it's been changed, I'm not sure. There's the Moti, pretty cool. But I think my favorite unit that I want to name as such is the Hotchkiss ACA Dubla. I think it's only 15 points more expensive, but it's twice the firepower. I think this could be really cool. So I nominate this as my potentially, from the first look, favorite unit of the division. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned for more content. Until then, bye for now.